Okay, we are live.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Sweaty Successful Moms. Thank you for joining us today on another episode. I think we're on episode 3 of The Sweaty Truth, where we're going to keep getting more raw and vulnerable, go a little bit deeper, kind of, answer any of your questions, concerns, comments, and kind of just share a little bit more truth from us. And that's why it's called The Sweaty Truth. And I actually am sweaty because I just finished the workout right before this. So it fits right in. So today we're going to talk about, like Miriam, I think you have it right there, what we're going to talk about.
Oh, yes. So today we wanted to talk to you about what spirals down and what do we do to get up, back up. That's our topic.
Yeah, because a lot of times, life is a roller coaster, especially right now, everything's a roller coaster. We have our ups, our downs, our highs and lows. And what do we do to bring us out of those lows? Because we can't stay there. As Leslie says, it's important to feel it, to lean into the discomfort, observe it, but you definitely need to come out of it. So we thought we'd share things that have worked for us, how we get out of our spirals, how we get out of the lows. And if you have any questions, if you want to share, please comment in and let us know, and we'll answer them. Or if you have anything you want to share, please. Let's be interactive here.
Yeah, and when we were chatting about, where do we get our inspiration? Our own lives. So, especially, I guess last week, the weeks all blur into one now. I was not doing well, and Kristen had to help me out. And we kind of realized, like, all three of us have a different way we spiral downward. What sucks us in, what gets us to feeling not our best, and then we each have like a different way that we get out. So for me, it's when I kind of have two things that will like really push me down. And my symptoms of being super down is I'm exhausted, like completely exhausted. I could go to bed with the kids, I could wake up with the kids, I could sleep for 12 hours and like still have no energy. And if I do my little checklist, I'm like, am I taking care of my health? And if I am, then I know it's something mental. So the other week I was spiraling down because I wasn't fully connected to my purpose. I was getting sidetracked of like, I'm not being busy enough. I'm not contributing enough. Like our business isn't growing as fast as I want it to. And all of that was just me not being aligned in my purpose. And so it showed up as me being exhausted. But of course, when you're tired, what do you think? I should sleep more. It's like this really elusive thing. Like fatigue is tricky because it's hard to tell your body, hey, you actually don't need to sleep more. You actually need to, like for me, reach out to a friend. But the very first, I was like, oh, I should exercise more. Well, yes, that would probably help. But I could just go right to the source and say, like, what do I need? Where do I get my energy? And it was calling Kristen and being honest about like how I was feeling and how I didn't want to do anything. And then Kristen, she knows what I need because I tell her what I need. I'm like, I need verbal affirmation. I need someone to tell me that I'm a good person, that I'm doing the right things, that I'm inspiring, that I'm we're working as a team, that I'm not working alone. Like these are things. And Kristen, like, how to do that for me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, so can I share a little bit of what you had said?
Absolutely.
Okay. So one of the things, like, let's say I mentioned she was said that she's been trying to build a business for 12 years, right. And it's really interesting because when you start thinking about that, like, well, what does the business mean to you? What does that look like? She said she's been trying to build a business for 12 years and has felt completely unsuccessful in that. But the truth is, she had totally built up residual income, which allowed her to leave 2 jobs and buy her house that she lives in because of a business that she created on her own before this. So that's pretty incredible, I think. So it's just kind of reminding ourselves of like all the accomplishments and things that we have done, because it's so easy to look at like where you're not at, where you want to be, that you kind of forget like, oh yeah, but I did do this. Like I did create that. I did create this like income that completely supported me and my family and bought a house. And I did that on my own. And, you know, it's really easy to forget all the things that we have done when we're looking at that bigger picture of where we want to be. And I know for me, I get trapped in that all the time, forgetting the journey. So these girls know that well about me because I always kind of like get impatient and look ahead and all these things to happen now. And a mantra I had to create for myself was, I am exactly where I need to be right now. I love the journey that I am on and I am safe. But, you know, I can say that to myself and sometimes just like Leslie described, doesn't mean I always believe it. And I end up in my own like way of spiraling, and I end up, I think just emotionally exhausted, but then I get like really like fired up and like a little bit in like different energy way where I get like, you know, really fired up and go, 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 like kind of the opposite of Leslie, where like I can't sleep, I can't do this. And I'm always like, just like literally kind of like unraveling. And
like a ping pong ball.
I need like the opposite of like, I need to come down and like de-stress. Actually, funny story about that. I'm going to digress a little bit. When I was in nursing school, taking care of this one patient, and, you know, trying to do all the things and learn about everything, and you're new and just kind of like overwhelmed by, you know, like first year nursing. And the guy said to me, he's like, do you run at all? And I was like, yeah, occasionally a little bit here and there. I don't know, but not really with school. And he's like, you really should. Like, I think you have a lot of energy you need to like get rid of and disperse. He's like, because you're making me really nervous. So like, you know, the go, go, go. So which brings me to why I'm like sweaty and working out now. Running, working out, ways to kind of remove myself from situations to get rid of that energy in my body. Really helps me. Reaching out to Leslie and Miriam because they know, you know, how to bring me down and get on my head. And lately I've been reaching out to Rebecca Ogilvie of Rooted for some distance online Reiki sessions. Again, all these things that I need to down regulate and bring down the energy.
Mm-hmm. And is there like a moment when you know that you're starting to spiral? Because that energy to be able to do a lot, like I call you like the fire energy, is really like guides you to also accomplish the things that are aligned with your heart. But can you tell the moment that it's not aligned with your heart and you're starting to get like more frazzly? Or is it more when you're like deeper in that you're like, oops?
No, I can now I can kind of start to feel that moment. Like I can kind of differentiate between that pure, genuine, like excited energy, where, you know, ideas and good things come from versus the spiraling energy. And that spiraling energy has a lot more, I guess, anxiety. Like it just has like icky feelings, like not good feelings in it, where I can see it kind of come out like low patience, like with my kids or relationships or things like that. Like it starts to kind of shift into like an ickiness where I kind of feel like I'm not really in alignment with myself, because I'm usually, you know, good energy, positive, loving, happy. And when I kind of go the other way where I'm not so positive or loving or happy, then but still kind of hyper, that's when I know I'm unraveling, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about for you, Miriam? What's the thing, or, you know, or maybe you start with like, what's the symptom that like you're like not aligned and you're going down?
There are the few. I think one is food, emotional eating. So that's one. I start going into the fridge and trying to find something that makes me feel better, and associated with some procrastination. And then there is the exhaustion. Like when I'm done, I can't do anything and I just want to lay down on the couch and then just disappear. So I think I have like, it's kind of like a stage when it starts with the food, and then if it's really bad, it goes down like I'm completely out of energy and I just want to lay down and I don't want to hear from no one and I want to be in my little bubble and left alone until the next day. I think those are the...
That's actually like one of the things I ask people to be mindful of is are you searching the fridge for something to satisfy you? Like how many people at 8 p.m. open the fridge, look inside, and they're searching. And they, if you logic it through, like, what are you searching for? Well, something maybe crunchy, maybe salty, maybe sweet, but something that will satisfy. And we often look in food versus are we living with our heart, with passion, peace, and purpose? So it's really common that you turn to the fridge.
And every time I do, I think about you, actually. Like, no, this is emotional eating. Work. What's going on? Don't stop procrastination and be committed to what you're doing. How do I get out of it? I mean, I still have to work around a little bit this, but definitely reaching out to Kristen and Leslie. When I'm scrolling down, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing enough, and I haven't done this yet, and I can't reach it, and I don't have time. Then I'm going back to my friends and get their positive energy and reminders that, like Kristen says, I'm where I need to be at that moment. And so I also think a lot about that sentence, Kristen. Like, I'm like, okay, this is what it is, and I'm doing as much as I can. And then try to remember all the positive. Like when I write lately a lot, I've been feeling guilty because I don't spend as much time as I would like with my kids, because the homeschooling is lacking, because I'm working too much and I can't be there with them, and I can do all those things I wish I would be able to do in those crazy times. But then I have to remind myself that my kids are happy most of the time. They're still alive, they're fed, and they're actually enjoying the time. And so I have to remember and remind myself of the actual truths, and not to be too hard on myself. I think I
think that's really important how you say remind yourself of the actual truths, because that's something that Leslie talks about too, like story versus how do you say that again, Leslie?
Oh, I don't know.
When you like look at someone, is it like story or truth, or story? Like when you start telling a story versus kind of like, you're making it up in your head and kind of going off of that. You did a very good Leslie's living room off of that one. When you start making up stories in your head about, like, when you see someone, you're making up like a story.
Observations versus judgments.
Yes.
So like an observation is like, this shirt is green. A judgment is like, this shirt is green and maybe too tight, maybe there's a wrinkle showing, and maybe I don't look so good. Like the stories that go with the judgment, right? So the observation is that you're not spending as much time with the girls as you'd like. The judgment is like, that makes me not a good enough parent, that makes me not a good enough woman, that makes me like, whatever story goes in your head that goes with that. But the observation is simply, you're not spending as much time with your kids as you'd like. And that's okay. Like, it's okay that we don't feel okay about our situation right now.
So yeah, just reminding me of the truth, thinking about the fact, and trying to, like the fact, as Leslie said, the fact is a fact, but trying to turn around how I see the fact instead of being negative, turning into a positive thing. And I think for me is going outside as well. Like if I could just either gardening, that's a really good way for me to just kind of ground and go back in myself, and getting rid of the stories I'm telling, or going outside. Yesterday I went bicycling with my kids, and that was enough to just get me out of the spiral. So I think physical activities and fresh air are for me.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was thinking that too, needed to add that on, because like our mission is to grow a community that believes in raising leaders who are wholeheartedly connected to the earth. And we do that by helping moms live a life of peace, passion, and purpose. Because when they lead with their hearts, they teach their children to do the same and change the world. And that's pretty powerful. And a lot of that has to do with like getting outside and connecting to nature, connecting to ourselves, connecting, just to each other in community. But yeah, we did the same thing. Like sometimes like the best thing is just to like disconnect from everything. Like I think I had some kind of quote, there's lots out there, but like how you can like disconnect from everything, but yet you're connected to everything when you're outside. Like you just like feel the energy of the earth. Like you just like everything is just so clear when you're outside and free. Like we spent the day kayaking down the river, and it was just like so magical, because like there was nothing around. It was just the four of us, like down the river, and yeah, you just come out feeling so much clearer. And I think a big part of that too is like we've talked about on other platforms is that grounding, like actually like literally grounding and earthing and connecting to the earth, like bare feet, like laying on the ground, hugging a tree. Like we are energetic beings, like we are full of energy and that we can keep inside with us. And, you know, if we're indoors all day or wearing rubber shoes, we're not able to release this energy inside, which, you know, me, I get more hyper, but like I've been teaching my kids, okay, like go outside bare feet. When I get home from work or at any time, like go like step on the ground and take all that energy in your body and release it into the earth, like get like physically ground yourself.
Yeah, there's over 72,000 research articles or research
Study papers, study
experiments or whatever that actually prove like the physical, mental benefits of touching the earth with your bare feet,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty incredible. Like it's very scientific.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is we also talk about like the default to disconnect. Like, don't you feel sometimes like even though you know, like you mentally know you should go outside, you know you'll feel better, and you're like, oh, I don't like. It seems like so much work, especially when the kids are little, to like get everyone to just go out of the house at the same time.
Yeah. But instantly, like you do feel so much better. Like I was looking at one study, like you said, there's lots, but one that I was looking up, like just explaining like the energy of the earth with its, I don't know, electrons, and when you stand like, you know, barefoot, the energy actually kind of comes into your body and neutralizes everything and then kind of releases. I don't know, it's pretty awesome. Like kind of complicated to explain over a podcast. I'm sure someone could do it really well, but yeah, I don't know, I just recommend go outside in your bare feet, lay on the ground, just walk barefoot, hug a tree, and take in some deep breaths. And I don't know, I'm curious, like see how instantly better you feel.
Yeah. Well, and
yeah, I was gonna say the barefoot is awesome, but I mean, you can't. I was just yesterday. I had decided that I would go outside because I've been working inside all day, and it was beautiful. And the girls had agreed to go on the bicycle ride with me to pick up something. And right before we left, Janine was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And I had to literally drag her out of the house with Emma. And they were both not happy. Well, Emma got her happier anyway. But at the end of the day, at the end of the ride, I was in a way better mood. Juliana was super happy that we went for a ride. We were outside, and just by like forcing ourselves to just take some fresh air and change our mind makes such a huge difference in how we all felt. So I guess, you know, if as you say, sometimes we really do not feel like this, same as our kid, but every single time the outcome is a positive one. Like every single time the mood changes as soon as you go outside for even 2 minutes just walking around, or sometime I've just sit on my deck. Like if I'm spiraling down, I just go outside, sit on the deck, breeze, look at the trees, and even 5 minutes makes such a huge difference on the mood.
yeah, and if you like for our podcast, I'm going to give an analogy that I think will explain the science of it. So in your body, your atoms, they have, when you have oxidative stress or just stress, whether it's mental, physical, or emotional stress, your body produces free radicals. So if you imagine that's like an electron that's looking for a partner. It's looking for a match. So you can imagine it like shoes. It's like the atom would need, or the electron would need, atom would need 2 pairs of shoes. So maybe it has 2 pairs of red shoes. And if it only has one, it's going to look around and steal shoes that don't match it. It's going to steal a blue shoe. It's going to steal a green shoe. And then that shoe is going to have to steal another shoe from another one. But when you step on the earth, it's like all of these different electrons are giving the atoms their pair that they need to feel calm, and to feel, to be safe, and to function properly in your body. How was that?
I like the shoe analogy. Oh, good. Might have to use that sometime. Cool.
So I think like kind of from what we've been talking about, like a common spiral is the comparison syndrome, like looking away from where you truly are and saying like, I'm not good enough because I'm not there yet. And then the solutions are like getting outside, talking to friends. What else?
Coming inward, like actually listening to like what your inner community is saying, like your heart, like what your voice is saying. So like clearing out the noise, whatever that is, like maybe reaching out to like a distance Reiki, nature, a friend, but then just like going for a run. Like I always tell people like now I never run with headsets. I don't want to be distracted. I just want to be with like myself, my breath, like my feet on the ground, because it's like the only time where my mind is slow and I can like hear my voice and my thoughts without it being like crazy. So I recommend just like finding Miriam teaches in our program, solitude. So finding that place, whatever that might look like for you, to be able to hear your voice is important.
Mm-hmm. And I personally like have, again, the balance being an extrovert. It's like I initially get started in hearing my voice with connecting to a friend, and that's like in a way like my detox. So thanks, friends. And then I can go inward. If I've been able to make a human connection, then I can actually spend time by myself. I was actually using my Muse headband that I won. So it like goes on your head and it tells you your like brain state of like, is it calm or is it agitated? And anyway, so I used that today after I was outside, and then came in right before this. I put the Muse headband on and tracked my brain waves, and it's great accountability. Like, am I actually calm or am I not? So it helps me just like focus in.
What did it tell you?
Pardon?
What did it tell you?
Well, I did it for only 5 minutes right before we got on here, and I had 5 moments where my brain wasn't active. So 5 moments in 5 minutes of really getting in like a good state. I'm like, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. We kind of talked about a few things about spiraling. I think we kind of digressed a little bit, but I think it is all connected. So I think everyone, feels that differently, how they spiral, how they come out. And yeah, I don't know. I can't see anybody. I don't know if there's any comments. If anyone's
We got Joe on. Joe's watching. Joe, do you have any comments? Any questions? How do you spiral? I think we also will have a lag too.
Yeah, that's true too. But yeah, it's we all have our moments, and we all kind of recognize their patterns and how we help each other up, get out of them. Because it's important, you have to lean in, you have to feel the discomfort, like Miriam saying, going into the fridge and looking for food. Sometimes, like, well, even for me, like closing the fridge or closing the phone and just like, what are you distracting from? What are you not trying to feel? And sometimes you do need to feel it, and observe it and go there to let it go to come out on the other side, which is really important. So I was going to say, we're here to support you, to help you, because we will always believe in you, especially in the days you don't believe in yourself. And Liam just got home.
Yeah. So if you have, if you're watching and you're like, I think I know what my pattern is, and I might know how I get out of it, but I'm not sure. We do offer our creating clarity calls that can do exactly that, help you get really clear on what are get you clear on like where are you at, where you want to be, and help you understand like what's getting in the way. And what's getting in the way could be being really understanding your patterns so that you can get out of the downs really quickly. So you don't have to stay there. It doesn't have to be a day or 2 days or a week or a month or months of not feeling aligned with your purpose, with your heart. And, of course you're going to have days that you're down. We all do. 3 of us all do. But the goal is to not stay there.
Yeah, no, I was going to say like we, as Leslie said, we are all going through that. We all have days. There's no shame about it. It's part of human nature. So if you feel like I used to tend to keep it for me. no. Like, if you need help and if you need to reach out to your closed community, like, do so. Like, I think it's also gratifying for the other people to be able to help you to recognize what's going on and get you out of it. I think it's always a good thing. So
I'm really
don't be
glad you
safe.
mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned that, because in my previous network marketing business, every single person that I connected with, when I helped them uncover like what is their financial motivator, it was helping people. And whether finances are attached to this or not, the truth about people is that probably 99% of people get a lot of joy from helping people.
Mhm.
And so if you're trying to hold it all in and you don't want help, you're being a little selfish. Let someone help you. Let a neighbor help you. Let a friend help you. Let us help you.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. That's what community is for, to come out and connect. And it's really awesome because I think it really shows just how like loving and kind people really are. Like we really all do want to help. So yeah, I'm happy.
So I think that sums it up for the sweaty truth today, is that you know that like I like to binge sleep. Kristen becomes a ping pong ball and her energy goes everywhere and she wants to do every project in the world. And Miriam likes to open the fridge and search for her success in the fridge. And we all know that the real truth, though, is that it's getting back in alignment with our heart so that we are living our own unique life with passion, peace, and purpose. And all three of us live our lives very differently. And you do too. You live your life different than we do. So continue to be sweaty and be successful and redefine success to be whatever's important to you. And get outside, connect to the earth. Let's grow this community that believes in raising leaders who are wholeheartedly connected to the earth.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week for the sweaty truth.